Good afternoon. We're just going to give a moment to clear the waiting room and make sure that folks have connected to audio and are able to hear us. Good afternoon. This is an administrative hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing. Today is Thursday, February 15th, 2024. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. We are joined today by the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing, Kathleen Joyce, and Director of Operations, Rebecca Fu. I will read today's agenda item into the record. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You'll make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the Entertainment Division, and testimony beginning with elected officials or their representatives. If you are wishing to provide testimony, please limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. The only item before the Entertainment Division this afternoon is Jazz Urbane Cafe, LLC, doing business as Jazz Urbane Cafe, located at 2296 to 2306 Washington Street. The application before the division is to add the entertainment categories of audio device, widescreen TVs, projector, board games, table games, disc jockey, dancing by patrons, karaoke, instrumental and vocal music, exhibition trade shows, stage plays, trivia, and floor show until 2 a.m. indoors and 12 a.m. outdoors. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Thank you, Attorney Green, Executive Director Joyce, and Director of Operations Fu, Leslie Delaney Hawkins with the law firm of Prince Lobel, having an address of 1 International Place. On behalf of the applicant, and with me today is Teron Dorsey and Dr. Bill Banfield, the owners and proposed operators of this establishment. If it would please the Executive Director, I'll give a brief overview. I know that this team is very familiar with this proposal. So Jazz Urbane is seeking a live entertainment license to be exercised at the Bruce Bowling Building at 2296 to 2306 Washington Street in Nubian Square. As you may recall, the applicant, in partnership with Jazz Urbane Records, was awarded rights to activate this space pursuant to an RFP issued by the city. What we're proposing is a full-service sit-down restaurant, event, and community gathering space with live entertainment with an indoor closing hour of 2 a.m. and an outdoor closing hour of 12 a.m. midnight. We are seeking multiple categories of live entertainment, as was read into the record. I want to be clear, as I think everyone on this call is aware, this is not a nightclub. This is a very unique concept that we believe is unlike anything, not only in Nubian Square, but throughout the city of Boston, that will not only serve to further activate Nubian Square and serve the community, but will also serve to draw individuals coming into Nubian Square. We anticipate that our talent will range from local student artists to local artists to national and international acts, and will span different genres as well as individuals with different backgrounds and age ranges. We are looking for maximum flexibility, which is why, although we requested 7 vocalists and 7 instrumentalists, we do want that flexibility for larger performances. While the 7 instrumentalists and 7 vocalists is more reflective of what would be happening on a daily basis, we do want that kind of flexibility to not have to come back and burden the city with requests or the police captain with requests for larger performances such as choruses or choirs or symphonies. And again, we want to be clear that this is coming from an entertainment perspective. I do want to touch very briefly on sound mitigation, because that's obviously extremely important, especially given the mixed use nature of the bowling building. As part of our agreement and our lease agreement with the city, we have actually already engaged with Ascentec, which is a premier sound engineering firm, as everyone on here is aware. And we're currently developing our plans for sound isolation. We've produced an engineering report, and the first phase of our construction at this premise will really be focused on that sound isolation. Pursuant to our lease agreement, we're also required to have a working properly calibrated decibel reader on premise at all times to ensure that we are actively monitoring those sound levels to not negatively impact any other tenant in the building and to ensure that sound is not emanating from the premise. Regarding our booking process for acts, Dr. Banfield can speak more eloquently to it, but given his experience running Jazz Urbane Records and working with other jazz entities in the city, we have an existing team. We have individuals who are focused on local talent, new talent, and international talent. And we'll be working with those individuals as we book our talent and look to recruit acts. I want to be clear that when we use the word promoting, it is not promoting in the sense of a nightclub. It is promoting in the sense of working with these unique acts to make sure that we are attracting new people and new talent to experience this really unique concept. I wanted to touch very briefly on timeline. We are underway on construction. We anticipate our final permit set of our plans, other than our very basic demolition plans that we've already provided to the city and have allowed us to commence construction. We anticipate those in early March, which is a really exciting development. And we anticipate our true construction to begin in the 3rd to 4th week of April with a conservative commence operation date of November 15th of this year. We really want to get open and operating in this calendar year. As Executive Secretary Joyce is aware, we've appeared before the licensing board, have been granted a license, a restricted license pending availability that's currently pending before the ABCC. We anticipate that being issued in the very near future. And we've obviously conducted significant community outreach, both through the licensing board process and the zoning board of appeal process. And then finally, in terms of our security and operations plan, because we are still going through build out and finalizing all of the details, we're still in talks with third-party security firms who specialize in this area of kind of dine-in and restaurant live entertainment, but with a focus on also being a community gathering space. So we would respectfully submit that should a live entertainment license be approved for this applicant, that prior to any commence operations or issuance of the license, we would come back to you with a full security dispersal and operations plan, as opposed to just giving you kind of the bare bones right now as we work through that process. And with that, I'm not sure if Mr. Dorsey or Dr. Banfield have anything to add before any questions we're happy to answer.
No additions here. And thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll see if Executive Director Joyce or Director Fu have any questions for the applicant.
Yes, I don't know who, excuse me, the right person is to sort of take this question on, but Attorney Delaney Hawkins said it's not a nightclub. I don't think nightclub necessarily is a bad word, and it appeared to me that it was a nightclub. So can you explain to me why you're not calling it a nightclub and what it is if it's not a nightclub? What the differences are as you see it as like a management team?
Real quickly, I would say that the difference is where we would not be contracting independent contractors to effectively throw parties in the venue. This will be really a curated art series between music, theater, film. Yes, it will be open in the evening hours, but it will not be a place where we will be installing independent operators to create live events.
Okay.
And just to add to that, it is also a full service restaurant with.
No, I understand, but I don't think a nightclub is just someone who has promoters. And so I know you've emphasized that a lot. I'm just thinking about as we write our decision, I want to make sure we capture it correctly. I haven't been to the space since you've started the build out. Can you tell me a little bit about the outdoor patio? And you want to have music out there until midnight? Is that right?
So more often than not, it will probably not be live music out on the patio. We will do restaurant service seating out there, but we'll also probably have speakers affixed so that the music that is coming from the interior can be heard on the exterior. We've also created the capability to do projection through the windows of the venue. I think particularly Danny Green might remember that in 2021, we did a series of performances where we projected performances back out into Nubian Square with audio available so that folks could kind of take it in, wrapping around the building, particularly at a time where COVID prohibited gathering, and we could test that concept. The concept was so successful in our minds that we wanted to replicate the capability. Perhaps on occasion there will be live performances out there, but that will not be the norm.
That went through special events. I think I was involved in that too. Is that correct?
Oh, wonderful. Yes, that's right.
So I'm looking at the floor plan. Where is the patio? Is it?
The patio is on the Warren Street side.
Okay.
It's on
the
the,
left.
So if you're looking at the triangle,
Yep.
it'll be on your left-hand side. It's almost like
Okay.
a small brick plaza to your left.
Okay.
and executive director, it is city property in that it is the bowling building's property, but it is not the public way.
Okay. Okay. It's a very cool space. I think everyone's excited about it. Getting up and operating. I just want to make sure we cover everything and we can issue a decision that, adequately describes what you're trying to do there. I'm gonna turn it over to the Director of Operations, Rebecca, to see if she has any questions that she needs answered.
I know there's dancing there. Do you guys have like a designated dance floor? Because obviously when there's good music, people dance. So I don't know if you have an actual dance floor. Do you ever move tables and chairs?
Well, so part of the design is for the seating layout to be flexible, and we've got a partner that we want to work with on ultimately a weekly basis, whereby the main dining room could be cleared out. We'll be using appropriate flooring materials for dancing, for either a live dance band or a DJ. But our main dining space will accommodate that flexibly.
Okay. Just to clarify, for us as the licensing division, nightclub to us is any space with live music and dancing. It doesn't mean like the nightclub club that you
Yeah.
think of. So that's just how we differentiate. Was there a community process for all this entertainment? Were any concerns raised, support? Can you tell
Yes,
us about
we
that?
held an abutters meeting on September 29th in 2022. We also reached out to all of the elected officials and the civic associations and only received resounding support and nothing else for the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services and the elected officials was required. We do think this has been very well vetted in the community as well.
Okay. And what's the expected capacity inside and outside? And are there multiple levels or is it just all one floor?
Just all,
It is all one floor. We do have storage on a mezzanine. Our indoor proposed capacity is 187. Outdoor is 32.
And do you have any event nights or restaurant nights that would be limited to certain ages, or is it all ages all the time? 21 plus, anything like that?
we're aiming for all ages all the time, but certainly depending on acts booked or any artist constraints, there may be occasions at which there are audience limitations, but our aim is to make sure that this is widely available to the public.
I would also add that part of the community transformation piece has to do with the fact that it is the bowling building, which is the home of the Boston Education Department. And so we've talked a lot about how we would utilize the space during the daytime before our kitchen staff comes in and sets up for the evenings, and as well Saturdays. So if that's helpful to you, while that may not happen at night, we do expect to have all kinds of events that in fact are more wider in terms of the kind of ages that we want to engage. And that's really a part of one of the things that made this exciting for the community.
And then I just have one last question. What is your experience with running entertainment venues?
Well, maybe I should speak to that. I think where this started, actually, the history of this is that I began to do a lot of these things around the city, and well, even before this last iteration of it, which is about 205, 206 or so, when we started to do entertainment kinds of production things, both at Daryl's here and as well Scullers and other places. It was called the Jazz Urbane. We began to move around and produce these. I was also involved in also the opening of the space in the South End, which is now called it is I'm having a moment here. But I did
The Beehive.
say that the Beehive. Yes, I was one of the original person. I was the original talent organizing for that. We did that very successfully. Everybody knows the Beehive, and at some point it became very apparent that this needed to happen in other places, and certainly in the bowling area. Once that RPF was called, you talk about vetting in the community. People have been very excited about having a similar space right there in at that point it was the Dudley area. Now it's the Nubian area. So I think with that experience and the fact that that's one of the things that I do in my work. I was the director of Black Music Studies at Berkeley. Those associations in our work in the community begin to come together and become an attractive feature that I think people became aware of. And I think that's my experience here in Boston.
Awesome. I have no more questions. This sounds really exciting.
I actually thought when I looked at the floor plan, this reminded me of the Beehive, so that is funny. I didn't know that connection beforehand. Yeah, I have no questions either. We're just asking these questions to help inform our written decision. Danny? Is there
Thank
anyone
you.
else?
We'll see if there are any folks with us who would like to testify. Is there anybody with us this afternoon who wishes to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Good evening, Madam Chair. Sir and members of the board. My name is Asha Janae, the Roxbury liaison from the neighborhood services. And there has been obviously multiple community engagements that occurred, and I think hasn't been any concern so far. The community has been really anticipating and excited for this to occur. So I think that's about it from our end. So I defer to the board. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Asha. Are there any other individuals with us this afternoon who wish to testify on this matter? That the Entertainment Division will take this matter under advisement. The Executive Director will issue a written decision, and that is the only item before us this afternoon, so that will adjourn this afternoon's hearing. Thank you all,
Very
and
much.
enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.